you actually have a category. Why fans of teams like the Cubs, the Mets until this year, of course, and any franchise from Cleveland love rooting for a loser? Is this an addiction that turned into an addiction?
A little bit.
You think it's an addiction? I mean, I think a lot of it is you struggle so much with these teams, and you live and die with them. And what it does is that in the good times, it sort of distorts the value of winning, right? So you sit through enough bad Met games, you sit through enough, Jose Reyes wins the batting title and leaves the next year, and R.A. Dickey wins the Cy Young and leaves the next year, and all sorts of losses, and Beltran standing there at the plate. And when they finally get to the World Series, it feels different than if you're a Cardinals fan. And we do this in life too, right? That the harder we work for something, it's not just no pain, no gain. It's the fact that it changes the value. And what we talk about in the book is something called this sort of IKEA syndrome, where IKEA has this phenomenally high rating among consumers. People can't figure out, I got to build this myself. It makes no sense. And what they found is that people struggle to build these desks, and they're sitting there with the instructions, and they could swear they didn't send you enough screws.
Or you have pieces left over.
You have pieces left over, and you're ready to gouge your eyes. It's so frustrating. But when you finally build that desk, it's so self-satisfying because you've struggled through it that you value that desk higher. Yeah, even if it's rickety, exactly. But you end up valuing that. You value that higher than you probably ought to because you invested so much struggle. And we're putting forth this idea that the same thing is true when you struggle with these teams. There's so much effort that goes into rooting for a Cleveland team, or the Mets was the example we used, that when they finally do win, it feels a lot different than when you're a Yankees fan or a Patriots fan.
You're not saying they don't want to root for a winner, just that it becomes this fabric of their lives almost to root for a loser.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a little bit like rushing a fraternity or sorority or going through another initiation rite. You have to. Why did I go through something that was so challenging and so draining and so difficult? Well, it must be because the end result was so great. And so you got to convince yourself it has to be the wait.
Hey, look,
and so you got it. That must be the most important aspect of my life. And so that's a lot of what goes into it.